Hello everyone, ArtsyTashann here. Imagine if the planets, all 9 planets plus Pluto in our solar system, were mushrooms. I don't think anybody else has wondered what they would look like, but I have, so that's what I'm doing today. I've actually done this before, however the designs from before are really outdated and I thought they deserved some refreshment, or a redo. So starting with Mercury, I used a mushroom called the Death Cap as my inspiration. I thought these two mushrooms had some commonality in the fact that the Death Cap is incredibly dangerous when consumed, and Mercury cannot hold life. That's just my connection, and I decided to go with it. But that is only a connection someone would understand if they watch this video, so haha. I used the Death Cap for inspiration as far as the whole shape of the mushroom goes, with a little skirt underneath the cap, and began adding details of craters. Now in my first design of Mercury, I didn't include any real detail of the craters that Mercury has, and I wanted to add those in this version. They took absolutely forever, but I really feel that they add something to the drawing. I also wanted the sun in the background to feel sharper than it did in the original, more harsh to symbolize the harsh conditions on Mercury. Also missing from the original, I added a title of the planet because in the original drawings of these planetary mushrooms, nobody really knew what they were, and I feel like it adds something. I went back and forth a lot on the colors of this drawing, mostly on Mercury itself. The sun was rather easy because I already had a sun that I really liked, and I kind of just emulated that. But on Mercury, I was really determined to try and bring in some pop of color. However, the actual planet doesn't have a lot of color to it. Mercury itself is really dry and hot, as it's the closest planet to the sun, and adding these colors really didn't represent Mercury in the way that I wanted it to. I ended up cutting out most of my fussing with the colors because I really just went back and forth over and over again trying to make the colors look good on this planet, but it just didn't look natural. In the end, I did decide to go with a plain grayscale Mercury, as my reference at the top shows. The other image behind the 2 planets that are up right now is actually my original drawing of Mercury that I've been using as a reference to see what I can improve upon while I was drawing. And this is the final Mercury. I'm actually really happy with the way this turned out. Despite it being rather dark and colorless, it just feels more Mercury to me. Moving on to Venus, I chose to go with a morel mushroom for the inspiration. Venus is covered in craters and a whole lot of volcanoes, and I felt that the morel kind of emulated those shapes in a way that I liked. Venus actually has a whole lot more volcanoes than craters. Venus has more than 85,000 volcanoes and only around 900 craters. That's absolutely insane. I rather like the shape that this mushroom turned out to be, and I know I didn't draw 85,000 volcanoes on the morel's surface, but that would have made Venus look a lot more like a spiky ball than a morel mushroom in my opinion. This drawing did go a lot easier than Mercury did, because I actually quite like the original design of Venus, I just don't like the shape. Now from space, Venus is actually a bright white, and this is because it is covered in thick clouds of sulfuric acid, but on its surface the rocks are different shades of gray, much like the rocks on Earth, but the thick atmosphere filters the sunlight so that everything would look orange if you were standing on Venus. I really wanted to represent that in this drawing because I honestly didn't want to draw another gray mushroom, but I really feel like the oranges and browns are very interesting and provide some good depth for my representation of Venus in mushroom form. I absolutely love the way these recreations turned out. I'm way happier with Mercury now in its new form, with all the craters and the sun behind it, and Venus looks a lot more like Venus in my opinion. I love all the little details that went into these two, and I hope you guys like it too. I have 8 more planets to do, so I hope you'll stick around for those. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.